Jam guys, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Good
We
morning.
can hear you.
Big day today. Finally, Ruji token live.
It feels like it's a lifetime. Yeah, it's what have we been 9 months, 10 months now? Wow, how so much work has gone into this. It's very exciting.
Hey guys, hi everyone. Yeah, big day, huh? Woo! So yeah, it's finally live. Very happy with that. Off a rocky start, but I mean that's always a flip of a coin. Huh? It was to be expected. So yeah, we are like so the key thing here is we identified an issue with deposits when we funded effectively the rKUJI and KUJI contracts, which means that for now the deposit and withdrawal from the rKUJI and KUJI have been disabled, so you cannot withdraw. So that's the bad news. So sorry about that. We are on it to fix it, and yeah, it will require a THORChain upgrade, but we are gonna try to speedrun it. So that's just the bad side of it. Otherwise, like everything else seems to have been going smoothly. The tech is working as intended. A lot of buy and sell pressure. Price has been going down a bit, but I mean that doesn't matter. It's we are really here for the long term, and now like we get to start the cool stuff, not having to deal with that anymore. Well, still a lot ongoing actually. We still need to finalize things to get Kraken and Mexi over the line for trading with market makers, but the hardest part is behind us, hopefully, and then we can go back to fully focus on building and generate value for the long term. So yeah, very exciting time, guys, and very happy that after all this time, this is finally happening. Ruji is live and can be traded on Ruji Trades order book decks, 100% on chain, on top of THORChain, and that's a big win for everyone, for the industry, for us as a team, for us as a community, and super exciting about all the many more milestones to come to grow this tech now and just keep making more volume, more liquidity, and more fun for everyone with Ruji and other things. I don't know if anyone else want to come and say something. Maybe I think Hans is in the audience. If you can.
Yeah, I think we've we should talk a little bit about what the next couple weeks looks like. We've since the upgrade and everything went live, pools and swaps went live. Perps just, was on StageNet for the past couple weeks, getting some testing, and then we'll be doing some private testing on, on mainnet, which will go live in the short, soon to be, and that will have some, invites for people to come and play with it, and then that's the next couple weeks and months for Rujira, pretty action packed. There's, I think PM. What's the count now of the unique number of teams that are building on Rujira?
Oh, I could not even say on top of my mind. We're like 5 teams initially, and now like it's really hard to say because it depends on what you count as a team. But there are like many contributors. You also got like the now Redacted is on board. You got DAO that is there. We are talking with a lot more teams that are interested and coming to launch new products or mostly build on top of existing products. And we get, of course, a lot of people from the community, the NAMI team with GP and Matteo building, of course, the index products and the saver products, but also helping with station and with the API and the backend. So a lot of core things that they are really helping driving forward. We got the Rujira, the Auto Rujira team, sorry, also helping like tons. They've been building Ruji AI notably, so it's getting there with this fully automated infrastructure. So Ruji AI will be the kind of front end to access all the apps in the ecosystem via a ChatGPT-like interface, but they also they have announced their Auto V2 version, which is going to allow to build like all sorts of automation with kind of Lego building blocks, allowing you to do everything in the ecosystem, even if you're not a developer, with just like moving little pieces, designing the diagrams, and then it executes a strategy, and then you will be able to put that in the marketplace and monetize it if you're doing good with it. So a lot of very cool things happening. Building of Ruji League is also gonna happen. We need to build the analytics still. But a ton of people helping, more and more joining by the day. Also looking to reinforce on the infra sides to get redundancy on the RPC level and just get more stability and start to scale for to prepare for larger volumes. But yeah, plenty of things going on.
Do you have a timeline? Do we have a timeline for like some of the pool strategies for audits and so on? For because we've got a ton of them coming, right?
Yeah. So, well, yeah, you have also maybe Jonathan can come back on that. But the next big launch will be perps actually. But we are also working with Hans. Is working on the virtualization strategy that will be a big milestone, next one, that will allow us to effectively virtualize the liquidity of the base layer via an arbitrage strategy. And that's going to allow us to list all the big pairs, all the BTC, ETH, XRP, all those big tokens finally available in 100% decentralized order book DEX on chain. So that's one of the big one coming next. And then after that, we are going to build some more strategies, so some UniV3 type concentrated liquidity. There is also a very cool concept that we need to dig a bit further, but is to use effectively a new type of IMM model called Orbital for stablecoin pool and any stable assets. So that's also going to happen. So we'll be able to have like stable pairs like BTC, CBBTC or WBTC, BTC on the order book as well, and that's a nice way to with a highly performance, highly capital efficient, stable market making strategy, and we can pull more than actually just 2 assets in this strategy. We'll be able to virtualize and have like as many different tokens as there are different variation of the same underlying asset. So CBBTC, WBTC, and BTC, for example, the same within the same strategy. And this is a very nice way to allow people to generate some yields on BTC, for example, without having to take any impermanent loss risk. So that's coming. That's very cool. The virtualization strategy will also be no impermanent loss, in the sense like there will be a single-sided deposit pools, still TBD how we do that effectively, but we'll also probably tap into the landing vault, which Hans has been pushing this week. So yeah, a ton of things to come, and will be a lot of it will be before and after, once we have this virtualization strategy and we can start to build liquidity for blue chips. And then things will become very, very exciting once we have both the virtualization strategy that starts to give us this base layer of liquidity tapping into the base layer pool. But on top of that, when we will start adding those concentrated strategy, deepening the book in specific pairs, and allowing to facilitate much more volume at the app layer level. And also potentially arbitrage between the base layer and the app layer.
I was just going to say that the virtualization strategy in particular is super cool, like with the idea of passive market making. Kudos for coming up with that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's effectively, if you remember Unstack, it's the same concept as Unstack, but on steroids. So Unstack was allowing people to, you have a LST, I don't know, like a ST atom. You normally have a 15-day unbonding period, and Unstack will like just front run the 15 days, give you atoms at charging you like a little premium on it, so giving you a little discount compared to the underlying value of your stacked LST. And then, but you get to front run the waiting time, and then the strategy will unstack under the hood the atom and the ST atom, and once get back the atom, repays effectively the loan that was given to pay the user in the first place. And what the virtualization strategy is doing, it's effectively the same logic, but on a much shorter time frame. And instead of tapping into LST, it can tap into any asset that has a base layer pool. So yeah, super clever way. And that's of course our incredible Hans that came up with this idea. So kudos to him. Hans, I see you're on speaker now. Do you want to come and say something? Maybe update a bit. Tell us about.
So let's talk a little bit
what's
about
coming next.
the market in general. You know, we've been for weeks now with Bitcoin above 100K. You know, we've had you know, there's a lot of macro stuff that is you know, bringing a lot of focus and interest on the cryptocurrency scene. You know, it's been and a lot of us are here, class of 2021 or before, you know, the previous DeFi summer, you know, when DeFi was really at its peak. I'm curious to hear from you guys what you think. You know, what are the catalysts that we're going to see that are going to, you know, attract new users, bring more growth, and you know, how do we envision that Rujira is going to play a significant role in that?
Well, I think generally, like we see this is a very good fundamental macro change, having like a US administration that is super friendly to crypto in general, and seeing a lot of companies that start to do because of that a foray into blockchain. And so we had strategy, micro strategy now buying Bitcoin. We start to see governments building Bitcoin reserves, and we start to see other similar vehicles to MicroStrategy emerging for doing the similar stuff, but in other tokens. So I've seen recently some SPACs doing that for Hyperliquid. So I think that's generally super positive for the space, and we are gonna. I mean, we are all gonna be able to capitalize on that. At the end, it means like it's a net inflow of capital. Like it's a growth in that. We also see like same with stablecoin. By the way, like Genius Act that passed this week, like it's becoming more and more mainstream, and that means like effectively a net inflow of capital into blockchain using blockchain rails. And we are at a great place as the app player on top of THORChain to serve all those markets, because we are like the hubs that connect all of them and that can capitalize on volatility of between any of those chains and just help rebalance the markets directly without having to go through centralized exchanges. So very exciting stuff, and yeah, we are like in a very good spot to benefit from that.
Yeah, I think
also very interesting stuff.
I was gonna say real fast that I think like you were saying, I think Genius Act still needs to go through the House, but I think once we get like a a standardized framework for stable coins, which has not actually existed up until now, like the actual now like we've got huge banks and providers like Fidelity. Apple's getting involved with payments, etc. It just brings so much more activity to this space. And I think, like Tron Group was announced. I think regulatory wise and just otherwise, there's so many more opportunities for THORChain and just Rujira to expand and just go in so many directions that, there's a lot more room to be creative and flexible with what builders build without just being afraid, and that's an important thing for innovation.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one of the other things that's really excites me coming out of that, it's the tokenization of stocks. At the end, like crypto is a very tiny market with what, like 3.5 trillion market cap, I think, combined, of which pretty much half is Bitcoin. What we have seen this week, it was an announcement that Coinbase is looking into launching tokenized stocks. So if actually they can do that in a way that is permissionless, meaning like those tokenized stocks can be transferred freely on the Base blockchain. Base is connected to THORChain, and that would be amazing, because then it means we can start to trade stocks, tokenized stocks issued by Coinbase on THORChain order book on Rujira, and that's super cool. I think there is a tremendous potential for growth there, and that's one of the things that's super exciting to me. And then imagine where if you can make market the same way we have those XYK pools and those concentrated liquidity strategy, but if you could use that to trade your favorite stock, whether it's Tesla or an index of the S&P 500, and instead of just passively holding, usually they have way lower volatility, so you could use a tight conservative liquidity strategy in a tight range and just make market for this stock and make money on volatility instead of just passively holding your stock. It's super cool. And then with project like Rujira Index, it also opened like a new design space for them to create like a different type of product. So on-chain, like they could replicate for potentially a S&P 500 or any sort of index using tokenized stocks as underlying. So yeah, quite a lot of cool stuff that could come out of that.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of people, getting access to international stocks and so on is really difficult. So just having something on chain makes it so much more accessible to a lot of people, which is a huge deal.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally.
No, for sure. Like JB here, but like the stablecoin thing, I think is definitely massively interesting. I think I saw like a stat that 1.1% of the dollar supply is now in stablecoins, which like is pretty crazy. And then if you combine that, like you guys were chatting about with stocks, and like obviously stocks being on chain is like really exciting, but there's probably a huge amount of people that would participate in things like trading or buying stocks or other financial opportunities that wouldn't, like, they either have to hand over data, KYC, aren't of the required age, don't have the required amount of capital to do things they'd like to do. And I think DeFi is just going to open up like new worlds where people can come in with like $100 and they can start doing things that previously were exclusive to people who had over $10,000 or over $20,000. And then, like, let's say if you layer on top of that, if the stocks themselves can become tokenized in the future, where like people can start getting like owning stocks, collateralizing them for loans, and we're just going to have like a way more integrated financial system, and like all the regulatory things that are happening in America, especially, I suppose they're the leaders in most things. When they say yes, things generally tend to go in a good direction or tend to accelerate. So it seems that things are getting exciting, you know, and the price action sometimes, like, I think puts people off, and like maybe puts people off like exploring what's going on and exploring the potential of what can happen. But behind the scenes, all the things that seem to be being worked on, seem to be being developed, released, launched, and moving forward, indicate that like things are going to be pretty exciting in DeFi over the next few years. I actually saw the SEC like 2 weeks ago wrote a thread about how like DeFi was aligned with the American values of like freedom and liberty and all these things, and that's such a departure from where they were and their stance like only a couple of years ago. So it definitely seems like there's an appetite for innovation, and interesting where that will lead, you know.
Yeah, no, exciting time ahead on the macro fronts. So maybe let's come back a bit to Rujira, and we have the chance to have codehans in the audience. So Hans, maybe you can come and just on this big day share a bit of your view.
Thanks. Yeah, big day. I guess as a line in the sand, it's just it's a step on the journey, right? Like there's still a lot to build. There's still a lot to do. It's been like a long 9 months getting the kind of the foundational pieces in place, all the secured assets, all the cosmosm layer, everything onto THORChain and the integrated communities and all of that kind of stuff. And it's been challenging. It's been exciting. It's been rewarding, I think. Yeah, I feel like this is now like I'm feeling it myself. The kind of the things are sort of accelerating as far as the actual products go. So all the things that everybody is sat here waiting and waiting for, you know, the arbitrage strategies, the lending, the borrowing, the stablecoin, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, like it's been such a haze the last few months that I started the lending vaults the other day and then realized I'd already written them. And so they were just ready there to go for the arbitrage strategy. So I think, and then I know I tweeted this earlier. I know it's become a bit of a meme, the early Christmas present thing, but I think like not putting any dates on anything, right? But like things are going to start coming together quite nicely and quite quickly. We had a lot of like architectural decisions to make, how the app layer should integrate with THORnode, how and all the kind of the base layer stuff there. And then from a Rujira team point of view, it's like, what does our data layer look like? What does our wallet integrations look like? What do our signers look like? All that kind of really boring shit. And it's just done. And so now we can be consumers of our own infrastructure, and just march forward building these products. And it's like yesterday I had a moment to kind of sit back and kind of think about some design space for lending markets and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's a really exciting time. I know a lot of people wanted kind of more products live before your TGE and all that kind of stuff, but you just got to kind of do it at some point, and we've done it, and a couple of hiccups, but we'll iron them out and we'll move forward. I'm pretty excited actually, and it sounds like I'm surprised about it. It's been a long few months, but yeah, I'm really enjoying this phase of building, and the kind of like the opportunity now to reinvent what we'd already built in Kujira, and come here and bring these products forward.
Yeah, and
I'd love to talk a little bit about the token mechanics and why what's unique about Ruji, the Ruji token. This is the first time that I'm aware of that there's multiple projects that kind of come together to create pooled fees and share the cost of security, and have just kind of like a transparent and easy way to get exposure to multiple different ventures within multiple different design spaces. um, I'd love to hear kind of what excites you guys most about the token design, and to just explain from your point of view why somebody would want to hold the token or to use the token, and if there's an upcoming roadmap of increased utility apart from just fee distribution. If we could just touch on that for some of the listeners.
well, it's all about fee distribution. Actually, that's for now the only utility of the Ruji token. It's really this piece of ownership of a share of the economic activities that happen on the entire app layer, and that's a very powerful thing. Like it means if you think of THORChain as a nation state, as people. Some people have made a reference in the past. You can see this as owning a share of the economy that happen in the nation state, and all the enterprise and all the businesses that contribute, that exchange some value and use the tools infrastructure provided by the core Rujira apps, effectively generate some value, and half of this value flow back to token holders. And for me, it's a very compelling case. Like that's what, in my view, at least, a token should be. It should be an economic right, a share of give you a share of ownership in the cash flow of whatever project you are in. But what makes it very unique with Ruji is this. This is not just one project, but it's a combination of projects, and so it gives you a much more diversified, much more smooth and risk profile, and also a much bigger value accrual in the long run, because it's not just dependent on the success of one project, but the combination of all those projects succeeding together mean ultimately more cash flow and more fees, and that's true for both the Ruji token and THORChain based layer. So yeah, I think it's a very compelling case, and it's very much in line with what Rune does. So Rune has a less, up to the app layer, where it had less avenue for generating revenue, but now it gets also all those different apps on top, generating a different source of income, and they distribute that also with slightly different mechanics to their bonders and their liquidity providers. And yeah, I think that's it's a very powerful model, and that's I think how the real utility token should have, like a digital property. Like that's it in my view.
Yeah, I think another really powerful aspect of, or just broader other perspective, I guess, of some of the tokenomics would just be, I think with 3.8 staking goes live, right? Is that, uh, and then so I think we'll have, so I think we'll initially have single side and we'll get double side staking with Rune. But because of the merge contract, what that means is that there's game theory in terms of whether you want that really nice APY, if you're a long-term holder, from people merging over time in the contract. And then you have access basically to the passive APR, while remaining relatively liquid over the course of months, and then with a big surge after a year passes, versus just vanilla staking in various ways. So because of that, there's going to be less supply circulating. So then for people who care about those sorts of metrics, there's that aspect as well. And then eventually, I believe, I'm not 100% sure what um, Hans ended up deciding with like Ruji lending, but it should have utility on other applications as well eventually, right? So it there's more things you can do with it than just representing a share of revenue. But yeah, at the end of the day, like PM was saying, it's just a piece. It's owning a piece of the pie of what we hope to grow into one of the biggest centers of economic activity in DeFi. So yeah, that's really the most compelling use case. Then there's just a matter of how you value it, and that was what I was getting at. There's different ways of perceiving that value.
Yeah, I see we have in the audience also Aaluxx, Orion, Mark. So guys, if any of you want to join and exchange a few words, you're all welcome to request to speak, and it will be good to extend that to the broader community.
Yeah, anyone that requests to speak, happy to get them on.
And we have GP NAMI as well. GP, if you want to share your thoughts and the vision for Index and what's coming soon, given you are also one of the next one on the lineup for lunch, you are very welcome to come.
Oh, hey, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I didn't want to steal any thunder, but if you're inviting, then I cannot say no.
Oh yeah, of course. Always a pleasure to have you, sir.
Yeah, man. Thanks. Just wanted to say, guys, tremendous work, amazing things you've built. I've been following since having integrated KUJI on Maya protocol. Your guys, like your community's resiliency is amazing, and I'm just very excited to see you guys settling in your new home here on THORChain. Very excited for what you're building, for the contracts I've had the pleasure of working a little bit with. Shout out to Rujira, to Calc Finance, to NAMI. So I'm just stoked that this is finally going live, and that it's been a marathon. So just want to give a shout out to you guys. Really cool stuff, and very proud of working with you guys.
That's super nice. Thanks, man. It has been a very, very reciprocal pleasure to get to interact with you, and yeah, I mean that's having people like you, like you did an incredible work with TCY, and yeah, having this diverse community of very talented people, and the Maya team led by you is it's also a gift. So that's also a huge upside for us. Like it allows us to expand tremendously our community both in terms of users, token holders, but also builders, and that's super cool. Like there's going to be ton more things that we can do together and grow the pie, grow this total economic activity across our ecosystems.
Yeah, man, and looking forward to Ruji on Maya too. And anything you guys need from my side, you can always count on me and my team. Thank you so much for all your work, guys.
Thanks, man. And it will come. Rujira player on Maya, definitely.
Hello, everybody.
Hey, GP.
Yes, so didn't get rocks. Yeah, lovely spaces, huh? Uji born. Oh my God. Like Hans says, every time when you really work on this every day time flies, but actually it has been some time for everybody. So this is a very deserved day. So congrats. And obviously, yeah, I have to shell here. I have a shell index. Right, we are the next in line, I guess, more or less. Very soon, TC Hans, there's a merge request. And yeah, so this will be very exciting, right? So on-chain asset indices, native asset indices going live as soon as possible with our Y-Rune vault, which is taking the pain away to trade TCY against Rune, and we will do everything for you. And it will really be a lot of fun. I can't wait.
Yes, this is gonna be a great one. Yes, TCY. I think it's excited. Maybe you want to tell a bit more about people what it does. I think it will automatize what a lot of people are doing manually currently, and that's
Yeah. Let's do it. So the index in itself, we have two types of indices, and Y-Rune will be a net asset value index. So this means I can set a weight per asset, so a percentage of the total vault, the target weight the asset should fill, and whenever the weights, the actual weights of the assets in the pool differ from the target weights, and they are bigger than a set threshold, then the contract will rebalance back to the target weights. So it will sell some, buy the other, right? And initially, like we thought of this, okay, what can we do? Big cap indices, Bitcoin, Ethereum, whatever, and all of this will come. But actually, we have this beautiful dynamic of TCY and Rune. And TCY has quite a shallow liquidity, so it fluctuates a lot in price, while it gives you a right to 5% of the THORChain revenue. And if you combine this, so you say you have a certain amount of Rune, you have a certain amount of TCY, and they automatically rebalance based on the weights and the strategy behind it. Basically you can earn Rune with your Rune. And you're not locked up. You don't need a bond. Obviously, it's not the same APY. It's another story. But this will be like an exciting variation of an index, more like a strategy, you can say.
yeah, super cool. It's effectively a dynamic strategy that allow you to swing trade between Rune and TCY, but without having to do the work yourself. It's quite nice, and also allow you to collect the yield on the TCY part. So very cool product. I'll certainly buy a bit of it.
Lovely. And I think that the next one that we are very excited about then is once we have the virtualization. One obviously is native, like big asset native indices, however you want to call them. We still need to find a nice name. But obviously you can Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, whatever you want to put into an index, you can. But also, I mean, now this ecosystem, this Rujira ecosystem is starting, right? So we need to have this one index that tracks it all, that tracks this ecosystem and the success we're all going to have together in the future. And thanks to, I mean, also your input, PM, and especially the folks in Liquidity DAO, when we were doing some discussions, like shout out here in the governance forum, we will have a very nice, we will call it the Rujira index, that is not rebalancing actually, but it will track, like it will let the winners run, and ultimately will take losers out, and will be dynamic. So if a new token comes and launches, or project launches on the app layer, we can add it under certain circumstances. So yeah, you will have this index where you can join in and participate from the growth of the whole ecosystem.
Yeah, that's very cool as well. I very like this concept of effectively you get a mean reversion product with TCY Rune swing trading via STCY, and then you get this trend following strategy, which naturally tracks the biggest winner, and allow people to in one click effectively get exposure to the entirety of a curated list, I guess, of token operating on the app layer. So yeah, super cool product. I love what you're building, guys. I think this is really not much people have tried to do that in DeFi before, and the way you do it is particularly cool. So very excited about it.
Thank you. Yeah, really big shout out to the whole team. I'm always the one speaking, but we are 4 now already with Zephyro, Moonman, and Sub-Zero. So it's a real pleasure. And we can't wait. Like this will be. There was so much cool stuff coming. The earned features later on, but yeah, we will come back there. It just there's always work. No day without work.
I see we have Mark in the audience. Mark, do you want to come and say a word?
Yeah, just let him on.
Mark is still muted.
I don't know if you are speaking, Mark, but if you are, we can't hear you. Rug by X. Classic.
Can you hear me, guys?
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Here you are.
What up, people? Congrats, everybody. We made it.
Woohoo! Yeah, we did.
Sorry for the delay here. I had the pleasure of putting my
Congratulations.
kids to sleep. Yeah, I just wanted to backtrack a bit. I was listening in, and someone asked about utility and fee sharing and all that. I think something that people underestimate with what we're building with Rujira. We talked about it way back in the day when Rujira or Kujira became Rujira and Nirvana joined the Rujira Alliance, etc. But basically, Rujira is aiming at becoming the app layer for any chain that obviously is connected to THORChain, which will be most major chains in crypto. That's a big fucking goal that we set up for ourselves. This is just the beginning, but you can imagine, like, now that, let's say, XRP, the Ripple army, they are very passionate about their beloved XRP, but they can't really do much with it. Well, soon enough, as we start deploying and rolling out all the different products on Rujira, they can do a ton of things with their beloved XRP. And this is the path that we're taking. So really, when we talk about the utility of Ruji and the focus on fee sharing, I think it's a big task that we set for ourselves, because it's not just fee sharing on another chain. It's really fee sharing for all chains that wants to dabble into DeFi. That's pretty exciting, at least if you ask me. This is just the beginning, but yeah, I can't wait to continue working with you, Aaluxx, and the Nine Rooms team and the other guys at THORChain to continue to integrate more chains. Hans have certainly done his part on working a lot on the base layer, and many people don't know, but we spent most of the past 10 months really working on THORChain, upgrading THORChain to be compatible with CosmWasm, to have secured assets, etc., etc., etc. So it was a big lift, and now we can start actually doing the consumer-facing applications that people have been looking forward to. So yeah, I guess that's just what I want to paint a picture of. The fun part starts now, basically. So yeah, that's I just want to let that sit there, and then we can go back to what you were talking about in terms of Ruji. I didn't listen for the past 5 minutes because yeah, X rocked me.
Okay, guys. I don't know if anybody want to join and speak, or if people in the audience want to come and say something. I see we have Patriot Sounds. Maybe, sir, you want to come and say hi. Anybody you can request to speak, and otherwise I said for just maybe for 5-10 more minutes max, and then I really need to get going on a few other things. So, but you can continue without me, of course.
Well,
Yeah,
I see
with
so
the
many
group.
familiar faces in the audience here. It's really amazing how many, the weekly syncs that have been happening now, like Mark said, for 10 months. I mean, it's like just over time, it's just more and more people have been joining the Ruji Alliance until this point. It's I mean, it's almost like an army. There must be 40, 50 people that every week are working and contributing in one way or another to making this successful. I'm very curious to see how it's going to be in a year from now. You know, it's just like what Mark was saying, is that um, Rujira really can become the app layer for every major blockchain. And I think that the one of the biggest challenges in terms of building a dApp today in the market is always, well, which chain are you going to deploy it to? And if Rujira can really be successful at being that hub connecting all of the different chains, then it's just going to create a snowball effect where more and more dApp developers are going to want to come and deploy on Rujira. And that brings more users. And then really, if you're focused on an XRP app, or you're focused on something on to interact with base or wherever it is, it makes the most sense to just deploy on Rujira, because not only do you get that chain that was your target, but you get every other chain that's connected as well.
Yeah, the Omni, the Omni chain, Omni wallet, Omniverse portion of Rujira is is one of the biggest in parts of the vision, and really just everything happening that's so exciting here. And just a lot of the products being able to tap into that is just going to be one of the biggest things for like an all-encompassing DeFi suite, basically, which is, you can't really say that most other DeFi ecosystems are all sort of built by the same people working together. They're all sort of different groups doing their own thing. So, it's a competitive advantage unique to Rujira. But I just wanted to say as well, for all the speakers that I got on, if you want to talk, feel free to jump on. No need to raise your hands.
Awesome. Awesome. Hey, congratulations, everybody. Well done, especially codehans and Pragmatic Monkey and all the devs that put in the work. I am so thankful for you guys. I am beyond thrilled to have such incredible and talented engineers join this magnificent family we have here. Mark, I think it was Mark. Sorry, I was listening in. I believe he talked about the XRP community. And I don't want to oversell this, but me and Eric from Mocha, maybe that's Eric on the Mocha account right now. You can chime in, Eric, if you want. I think we've made some pretty good inroads into the XRP community. We've talked with this guy named Stone and various other hosts, and we've conveyed to them what's happened. THORChain's added XRP, and you are no longer sequestered on a centralized exchange, and the world of DeFi is opening up. Guys, I think they're really excited now because I paint the picture, I think, effectively in their mind. And I would love to have one of you guys just as soon as you can, maybe join us on the space or reach out to Stone. Someone can DM me. I want to get people talking to these guys because I think there's a huge potential here because these guys are pumped up. They are excited by what me and Eric have been telling them. And this is a great community, guys. Maybe there are some aspects of certain communities, but these guys have just been nothing but friendly, professional, and super exciting and very supportive. So I am so excited, guys, to see this going. So yeah, and that's what I'm going to keep doing. I'm going to push every single community I can, Solana, everyone. I'm going to tell them about the app layer. Because I think right now it's in THORChain's best interest to push the app layer to the maximum. That's all swap volume for THORChain. That's obviously all swap volume for Rujira. And I think we're going to grow. So that's going to be my focus. That's what I'm trying to convey to the community. And once again, guys, thank you so much. You've just done an absolutely bang-up job. Well done.
Thanks
Yeah,
a lot.
nice. Let's
glad to have you in
do
the
it.
trench with us. You really are doing your part and helping a lot. And when things cool down a bit, I'll be happy to engage with the XRP community as well to tell them a bit more about what we have. But ideally, we should do that after we have the virtualization strategy, so we can even live showcase them how they can trade XRP in another book and do all those things.
Yeah, just to complement what Patriot said, the cool thing about going to the XRP spaces is that we come with a value proposition. So it's not just like, hey, we want to sell you this, come buy this token. No, it's like we're coming with a real value for them. And then the fact that it's not only the XRP community, but a lot of communities that can benefit from this, and also from Ruji, providing all of these different apps that can be used by them, by those communities through THORChain or by proxy through Maya protocol, it's amazing. So yeah, definitely. I mean, Pragmatic Monkey or Mark, whoever wants to come, we can just share the links on the Telegram or I mean on DM, whatever. But the more people that we go, like it's getting so much traction. But I mean, I don't want to derail from what I wanted to say to you first, guys. We've been following this journey for what, like a year and a half, maybe even more. Congratulations, this is amazing, and we are so excited to see Ruji go live. You know, the thing is, and that's
Think you're
exactly
rugging,
why am I rugging? Maybe can you hear me?
I can hear you
I
well.
can
Go
hear
ahead.
you. I can hear you. You've got like a tiny little bit of static, but you're mostly, and we can
Okay,
mostly hear you.
yeah. So weird, man. It always happens in the Ruji spaces to me. What the hell? Okay, yeah, I'll be quick. Guys, we are very excited to let you know that now that Ruji token is live, very soon people are going to be able to pay with Ruji tokens on every single establishment and merchant that accepts Mocha. So right when we release the beta version of Mocha and people start accepting crypto, we're going to do a lot of marketing, and it's going to be one of our verticals to promote and to market the slogan "Pay with Ruji from your wallet." So yeah, just congratulations, guys.
Thanks a lot. Excited for that. I don't know if I will pay with my Ruji personally. I rather keep my Ruji and pay with USDC. But the offering the option is super cool, and I guess you will support also a lot of different currencies. So it's not one size fit all. Okay, guys, I'm gonna really have to leave the space, but super excited to see a lot of nice faces. Nice to see Sumo, you made it. Super cool to have you here around, sir. And I'll let you continue for anybody else who want to keep
Yeah, I
going.
can.
I'll stay
Could
in
I
listening mode.
get you to comment on one last thing? Sorry, just the hunt. We didn't talk about the MetaMask letting you sign Cosmos stuff. I think right for
Oh yeah,
OmniCoin.
yeah. That's super exciting. So Hans has been pushing an upgrade for the base layer that effectively functionally will allow you to control the app layer the same way you can control it currently with a wallet that is Cosmos compatible. So most people, I assume, use Kepler. You will be able to do that with MetaMask or actually any of the EVM wallets. So that's super cool. Like that's super powerful. It means like you can just come with your MetaMask. You don't even need to know to learn about a new wallet. You just connect MetaMask and you use the Rujira apps, and you can do cross-chain swaps via Ruji swaps, and you can do trading on the order book. All of that, signing transaction with your MetaMask the same way you would do with Kepler. So that's super cool. That's a very good one to mention. Thanks, Daniel.
Yeah, I can pick it up from there. It's very useful, guys, whenever you have connections or speak to anyone from other ecosystems, like Patriot just mentioned and Mocha is also doing. It's super useful when you hook us up and connect us with these communities, because really what we should aim for is not to talk too much about us, Rujira or THORChain. It's really to talk about them. Like it's really to showcase like, hey, you guys are building an ecosystem, you guys are doing your thing. We can amplify that. We can, you can plug into this whole suite of applications and do cool stuff with it. So yeah, every time we are, I don't know, 70 people in this space. Anyone who has connections, hit me up on DM or hit PM up on DM. We would love to talk to them. I see Ryan also here and guys from the Nine Rooms team. I know they are busy and cooking on a ton of new chain integrations, and that's obviously a first big step to integrate different chains to THORChain. But we need to follow that up, and if we are to be honest with ourselves, we need to get better at follow any new chain integrations up with interacting with these communities. the beauty of THORChain and really what has made THORChain a success is it's falling in the background. The technology falls into the background, and we've relied mainly on big wallet integrations like Trust, Ledger, etc. And we want to try to do something of the same with the app layer, where an XRP person or a Bitcoin maxi or whatever, they shouldn't really care how Rujira works. It just works, and they can do stuff with their Bitcoin or XRP or whatever on the app layer. So yeah, anyone, just a shout out to everybody who has connections in here. Let us know, and we will certainly pick up the conversations with various people in other ecosystems.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's one of our biggest things is basically just integrating everybody we can and growing as much as we can with every single possible ecosystem, as well as just providing tons of stuff you can do, with secured assets from every single chain. So um, that we're happy and excited to work with pretty much everyone, just like Mark said.
I mean, a good example of the powerful technology that we built upon is you can do stuff that people don't even realize. I think I tweeted out the other day that I swapped, I think it was Rune to Doge on my Kepler wallet, on Kepler wallet, and Kepler doesn't support Doge. And so people from Kepler called me up and said, "Hey, how are you even doing this in the first place?" So yeah, I mean, it's super powerful technology that we build upon. We just need to showcase and explain to people that they can do it, and how accessible it really is. You don't even need the builders of the wallet itself, in this case, Kepler, to be compatible with the chain. It just works. So yeah, we need to get the word out. We need to connect with these ecosystems, these different wallet providers, and then slowly but surely we fall into the background. But all the infrastructure and app layer is running on Rujira and THORChain. That's what we need to get at. So yeah, shout out to the community to help us get to that point. That would be a tremendous help.
It's almost like with the wallets, it's almost like a new level of permissionless. Like even the builders don't have to approve anything; it just works.
It just fucking works, and that's how it should be. The best technology falls into the background.
So if is there anyone else that had anything they wanted to give a big update on, or I don't know if THORChain saw you joined earlier, or Erudite. I know you're on the main account. I don't know if you had anything you wanted to add.
Yeah, no, just that I'm really looking forward to, like PM already said, the virtualization strategy. That's when the real marketing can kick in. And I think in crypto there's so many projects that just, I don't know, just hype everything and then overpromise and under deliver. And I think once we have the strategy live, we have the blue chip pairs going, we can do the same, but then we can actually show it and then deliver on what we promise. A few months ago, there was the hype of the Bitcoin layer 2s, promising that they would finally offer native DeFi to Bitcoin holders. And right now, I mean, I don't think there's any good option in the market to actually use. So if we can do the same, if we can reach the same audience, but then well, make it happen, then I think it will be very powerful. And just the things like the MetaMask example, just abstracting away every bit of difficulty, that's crucial, and that's crucial for the crypto users, and it will be even more crucial for any new user who isn't familiar with crypto yet. I think we want to work towards a a situation where people don't even realize they're using crypto. They're just using it similarly to their own bank account. And we've got a long way to go for that. But I think I don't know, we're making good steps, and it's going to take a while, but we will get there. Yeah, so maybe a question for you, Daniel. What do you think we need? What's the biggest thing that we have to abstract away for new users to join crypto in the first place, but also Rujira?
Oh, that's a great idea. I mean, we've talked about a bit about this before, in private conversations, but I feel like, things like seed phrases and just, some aspects of DeFi are somewhat, I don't know, like if we're trying to approach, right, that the general web 2 user, and we want to approach and just get more people in the space, there's going to be people that aren't as, they want an experience that's like a bank, right? But like, I mean, that's sort of the use case of NAMI, right? It's just an index that people, just the index, or just being able to make your assets work without doing too much. People want that really easy interface that they can just use to do something simple with, and not have to think about it too much. So I think part of the things need to be abstracted away. What part of what the Omni chain is doing, the Omni wallet approach, is people don't really want to have to think about the fact that they're dealing with different chains. You need to be able to do any kind of dumb thing. And to an extent, I mean, yeah, you need obviously the flexibility for more advanced users, but I guess for the average basic user, you just need it so that no matter what you do, as long there's just an intuitive feel for accomplishing what you're trying to do, and you'll get it done, and no matter what you sort of input, it sort of works out for you to an extent. Just a simplified dumb version of, I don't know if dumb's the right word, but just an easy version of everything, I guess. And getting that UX, I think, mastered, takes iteration, but I think that's really going to be the key innovation. Just and Hans talked about this before, but when you abstract away the fact that there's different chains you're dealing with, it just makes things so much easier for the average user that doesn't want to have to think about the fact that they're dealing with four chains when trading like four assets. um and yeah, and I think that's going to be huge, compared to just a lot of other blockchains moving forward. So I think that, seed phrases, the really convenient UX. But I think the other thing is probably payment rails, right? You know, I think with stable coins being coming in, and the Genius Act, and then I think there's a lot more room now for just easier access than ever before. And I think we're sort of at that right time and place, to really capitalize on these trends and make the most of it. So, but yeah, I think that's more just an opportune timing thing than something to abstract per se. But we can always go to the next level of that and do stuff like debit cards, whatever. But just building applications on top of the existing framework of the ecosystem is really what will make us stand out. That's what I think.
Yeah, definitely agree. And just to go back on the NAMI's indices that you mentioned, I think so. In the Netherlands, you have an app called the Giro, which is for stocks. And you can buy ETNs on that, which is the European version of ETFs. And the name that they use is like this very complex sequence of just the issuer, what type it is, what time. I don't know, just a lot of things. I think the cool thing is that we can make similar products and not just make the decentralized version of it, but then also make it better. We can abstract away just the complexity of the name of the ETN. We could just call it a clean name, maybe large altcoin index or something, to just make things more intuitive for the average user in the world. Because you don't have to be a finance expert to be able to use these products, or you shouldn't have to be. And I think that's something that we should aim for.
Yeah, sharp UI and UX can go such a long way in terms of just simplifying stuff for users and just avoiding all the complex terminology. Like before we had all the specific names for every single application. Now we just have very descriptive just names of what everything is, pools, strategies, trade, lending. It's everyone knows what's going on. There's no barrier to entry, and I think just iterating on that for everything we build is going to make a huge difference moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, it would be really cool if we could just at some point create a group of testers with just family and friends and have them try it out, see what's missing, and see how they view the products. Because we are of course in a crypto bubble. Most of us are very familiar with crypto and have been in it for a few years. It would be very interesting to see how they view the experience. Dennis, I saw you get back on a speaker. What do you think is the most important thing to make crypto accessible for everyone?
Great question. I'm in my car. Do I sound okay?
Yeah, we can hear
My
you. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah, you got it right. The complexity extraction is what you need, because you have to think of this whole new wave of people that are going to come into crypto, right? And so if you can take away that, extract away the complexity, the things that they're already using, like banking apps, Zelle, whatever stuff on their smartphone, that I think is the key, really. So your guys' instincts are 100% on point. Make it as simple and as intuitive as I can, and then maybe you can have like an advanced section for people who want to get do interesting things, like Hans alluded to about maybe a competitive lending space or something like that. I mean, there's just so many things that can be built. It boggles my mind. I wanted to quickly go back because I think it was Mark talking about us reaching out to these other communities. I just wanted to just double down on this, guys. This is so important. And there's a lot of people in this audience or listening right now. Like, you guys all have the knowledge. You guys understand how THORChain works. You understand what Rujira can do. You really need to go talk to these other communities, particularly because I don't speak every language and I'm just one person, right? I just imagine if everyone in here, as I think it was Daniel said, if you went out and just started going to like Solana spaces, or obviously assets that we support now, but like Doge and AVAX and whatever, who cares? We have to let people know what we've built here, because this is truly revolutionary. I mean, everyone's listening to an absolute 0 to 1 historically. It's right now. It's live. It's in your face, and you are a central part of it. And you are a very small part of the population that understands something truly revolutionary. So please take ownership of that. That's your responsibility to go out there and tell these other ecosystems. That's going to be my sole focus. I just want to push teams to these devs. I want the devs both on THORChain and Rujira. I want them building, but I want to feed them people that can also build alongside them and understand the power. I mean, this is huge, guys. And if you guys want Rujira, Rune, or whatever to do super well, we all can do this together. So, if you want to contact me, we can form a team, or just do something on your own accord. We don't have to, it doesn't have to be super coordinated. Just get on spaces and tell people what we built here. I think that is so important. So they're going to make the products, they're going to abstract away the complexity, they're going to make it brainless for the new wave of people like the XRPers are going to come in. It's our job to even tell these people that this shit even exists to begin with. That's our job. So own it, okay, guys? Let's do this thing. So thanks, guys. That's all I wanted to say.
Yeah, fully agree. I love it. It's once we get this virtualization strategy going, that's also going to be the main focus. Just getting in spaces with Bitcoin maxis, live streams, and show demos of the products, and just show what's possible and that it works. Maybe give them some funds to try it out themselves, because that's how we're going to get the users. That's how we're going to create awareness for Rujira, because these spaces are great, of course. And it's a great way to get in contact with our own community. It's also time for us to go outside of a community, and it's really hard. The Twitter algorithm is also very difficult in that, but getting these partnerships, getting these connections in different communities, especially the Doge or the LTC or the Bitcoin community, those connections are very valuable. And so if you have any Any of those connections or suggestions, then also definitely let me know. Then we'll try to get us in so that we can showcase our products. If anyone has a question or wants to get up from the community, then feel free to request for speaker. I noticed that we didn't get a update yet from all the verticals. And I think it would be cool to get it
Yes.
from the collections team, from Daniel.
Yeah. No, let's talk a little bit. So we've been working on both Gojira and Ruji Hub. So recently, Mint pushed some of the collections contracts out. He's finishing up stuff for auctions and so on. So we've discussed some of his vision for how this stuff's going to work. But for people that aren't quite as familiar, it's it's an NFT marketplace with auctions. The idea is that creators can make more. At the same time, users are able to bid. There's multiple types of auctions. There's starting off with 2, and then eventually sort of a pilot style type of auction. But one will be bidding on individual items, and one will be sort of with a more fixed price with increasing bids. The other will be just decreasing from a fixed price downwards to a floor, and then as soon as someone decides to get that NFT at that price, you get it. Obviously, for the one that is going up in price, that's more for specific NFTs that are being bidded on. For example, like the rares in a collection or something like that. But part of the other thing we're looking into as well, recently OpenSea has seen like a resurgence in sort of NFT activity on Ethereum. But there's also sort of utility types of the technology which is sort of more interesting. But one of the more compelling aspects of what collections can offer is just this sort of integration and synergy with the different applications for sort of DeFi NFT stuff, where I know in the past things were discussed with like soul bounded NFTs and then tied to user accounts that can store specific types of information, NFTs that can be tied to specific flows, as well as just the other types of just basic NFT technology. People are doing stuff with music, with tickets, etc. So there's a bunch of stuff to expand into. As far as interoperability, to start with, I guess one of the big things for a lot of the THORChain people that are interested is that we'll be helping my collections migrate existing THORChains. Sorry, existing THORChain collections migrate over from Ethereum, and just other EVM chains. So that way, they'll be able to move over to collections via a one-way bridge. Eventually, once the marketplace kicks off, etc., there will be Mint plans to introduce a two-way bridge for which would allow basically collections to be interoperable with any NFT marketplace on pretty much any EVM chain, and would let you just trade anything anywhere and use all the specific NFT tools on Rujira for any NFT marketplace. So that would be big. But that's more later on after the initial stuff groundwork is laid. But that's sort of, I guess, the big update from me on collections. On Ruji Hub right now we're working on onboarding. Lucas is working on doing some of the framework for getting we've recently changed some of the categories, and we're working on the framework for doing the typesetting of actual articles for other users. So hopefully we can start onboarding more users in the near future. But yeah, that's pretty much everything on both of those.
Nice. And yeah, so the core products like Ruji Trade, Ruji Pools are of course very, Ruji Collections are of course very important. But I think to create that true decentralized Binance feeling, we need to create a whole package, and we need to expand beyond the products, but and also start offering, for instance, Ruji Hub, where people can find information, can find updates, maybe news in the future. They can create their own articles. We need a support page. We need a whole lot of things that all complement the experience, and try to get as many people sticky to the website. Whenever they have a question, whenever they want to do something, we want to get them to go to Rujira.network. And that's also a cool thing. As part of the marketing initiative, I'm setting up the Omniverse with a team. And basically, the Omniverse will be the gamified and the lore layer on top of Rujira. People familiar with Havana, they of course did a great job also creating the lore back on Terra. That's where the inspiration came from. The Omniverse will be a very similar thing, where we will have this lore which resonates with the whole Kujira and the current Rujira story. And we will build all these games around it and community events, but also factions. And the whole goal of it is to get everyone a place on Rujira. So I think that one of the biggest challenges we're facing is that once we're launched, we're going to have this diverse group of BTC maxis who are very serious, very, I mean, they care. While at the same time, we also have these Solana meme coiners, which are very risk-seeking, and we have to somehow get both of these group emotionally attached to our brand and start using our products. And I think a lore-like and gamified experience is the perfect way to do that. And then we don't need to have everyone behind the same thing. We can play around with different factions, different teams, different values, and have them compete against each other. And everyone loves to fight for its own chain. So I think that will be a great way. And it was this will also involve a lot of NFTs, also built on collections. So I'm personally very excited for that. It's going to take a while before it's ready, but I think it will be very cool experience. On collections, do you guys have a bit of a timeline? Are you close to audits? Are you close to
Yeah,
testing?
like I was saying, Mint's currently finishing stuff up over the next couple of weeks. I think currently was working on just getting the auctions contract out, etc. I think the like we mentioned, I think the timeline should probably be sometime next month, maybe August. But yeah, aiming for getting it out as soon as possible and then just as soon as the audit's done, can get it out.
Cool. Yeah, and I think that's also so while we're working on the virtualization strategy, we're of course not working on all the other products. I think that's the benefit of having multiple teams within one big team. So Fusion is also making good progress on Ruji Launchpad. Perps is close to testing, and also getting the same community feedback treatment as a Ruji Trade and Pools got, just to create the best UX possible. So I think we're really getting close to a phase where we have all these launches coming up. And I know it's been a long 8-9 months, but I think really the next few months are going to be very, very exciting. Okay, we're almost well, we're over an hour. If there's anyone left that wants to speak, feel free to request to speak, and else I think we can call it a day. Do you have something you're looking out for the most, Daniel?
I think the virtual. I mean, yeah, I mentioned earlier the virtualization strategy is going to be huge. I think just people really haven't seen passive market making before, so I think that's going to be a huge thing. And I think just other than that, I think eventually when people are going to be able to make custom strategies on pools, that'll be huge as well. Just although that's more down the line.
I think we have Matt joining in as a speaker.
Hello, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Perfect.
Yeah, we can hear you great.
Amazing. I just wanted to say well done to everyone. You know, Hans, Mark, PM, basically everyone on the Ruji team. Probably take too long naming everyone. But yeah, it's amazing. It's such a great milestone to finally get there to build towards the Omni chain. And just wanted to say again, like it's an absolute testament to everyone's resilience, the whole community, not just the team. You know, everything that's kind of happened before, it seems like, you know, you guys have come back far stronger than ever, with an even more solid proposition where you're kind of combining the full suite with the Omni chain. And yeah, I don't think crypto is actually ready for it. Death to the sexes, long live the Omni chain.
Yeah, I love that. And yeah, I mean, you've also been a great help in getting the word out on Rujira. So very grateful for that, and also looking forward to keep working together in the future and both get the word out, get all these cool projects to Rujira, and get people to use the products.
Yeah, exactly. No, definitely looking forward to it as well. I think there's there's so much space to kind of hit. The fact that, you know, it supports so many different chains just means there's like a full market of people who can be applicable, far more than any other individual chain. So it's really cool, yeah, kind of bringing together and being greater than the sum of the parts.
Okay, I think that's it. I think we've got everyone as a speaker who wants to be a speaker. Yeah, just thank you to everyone who joined in. Very excited that the token is live. Very excited for the next months ahead. And looking forward to get Rujira out to the world and people start using the products.
Yeah, it's the start of something really exciting.
Yeah, for sure.